The other day I was going to make a video, and it was going to be about a particular area that I hate about women. And I'm using that word hate because I do hate it. And it's one of the main reasons I don't particularly care to be around women. And it's because of their complete and utter lack of accountability. Now, I know that sounds old and cliche and people are rolling their eyes, but hear me out because I have a serious question when it comes to this. Why do you all co-sign shit that is antithetical to the direction that you all claim that you want to go? Why is it that you all will go out here and you will try to fight everybody's battles, and you'll go out here and you're trying to be progressive and push all this stuff, but then like at the end of the day the women will sit there and they'll say things like I'm a Christian, or I want to be married. I saw a woman's profile, and her profile was like something to the effect of I'm a it said I'm a Christian, and then it was like I'm a LGBT ally. And I was like, ain't nothing in the Bible that supports LGBTQ, the alphabet gang. There's nothing in the Bible in there that supports that, but yet you claim that you're a Christian. Like, this is all this like you say you're about one thing, but then the actual tenets of what you say you're about, like, women just come through and they just try to arbitrarily change it. And it's irritating. They think they don't want to stick to anything. They think everything is fluid and everything can be changed, right? And they go around and they start fucking with the dials. I'm like, why are you fucking with the dials? I brought up this point when talking about Michelle Obama. Like, why are you co-signing this Zaya thing and Zaya transitioning into being a woman? And why are you co-signing that? You're married. You have two, beautiful, daughters, right? Married to the president of the United States, right? It doesn't get any more nuclear and biblical and Christian than that. But Michelle Obama goes up there and LGBT and all this other stuff. Now, I got an explanation, for, why you'll have black women, co-signing, shit like that, even though I don't think it needs a co-sign. But the idea is that, they're gay, or not co-signing, but encouraging it. Because if the boy is gay, or the boy is sweet, or the boy is, any denomination of split personality, gender dysmorphia, whatever you want to call it, then that's not going to be a boy that any black woman is going to want. So they're like, he might as well be gay and let him full bloom and blossom and all that other crap. But I think there's, other things going on where, again, you still have all the smash the patriarchy, hate men crap, toxic masculinity bullshit going on in the background. And so there's more like, we need more girls in the world, or we need more female identified males in the world. So it's another reason to co-sign. Like, there's all this like kind of hidden agenda shit that women do. Right. But then in the end, you'll hear women bitching. Oh, they want to be married. Oh, they want a masculine man. They don't want a sensitive man, right? Like they'll sit there and they'll talk about how men need to be more sensitive, and then when the man is more sensitive, they got a problem with it. Then they want to talk about how he's weak, right? They'll sit there and they'll talk about boss bitch this, boss bitch, I'm killing it. Women in power and all that other stuff. Same thing that Aisha K. Faines, God rest her soul, what she was talking about. And then when Carl was on the grapevine and they had that little whatever Zoom call, and Carl was like, well, sounds to me like you need to be with a subordinate man. She was like, I don't date nothing but powerful men. Saitheth the woman, or saideth the woman, who was all about women love power and everything. Like these things don't go together, right? Boss bitch alpha female doesn't go together with I don't date nothing but powerful men. How are you dating up When the whole issue that you have is one of the evils of patriarchy, and men have too much power, and therefore I don't want a powerful man because I don't like the dynamics that come out of being in a relationship with a powerful man, right? Like, these are the sorts of things that go on. Like I said, same thing with the sensitive bullshit. Want a man to be more sensitive. Then when he is sensitive, then the issue becomes, oh, he's too much of a coward. He's too much of a bitch. He's too weak. He didn't handle the situation like I wanted it to be handled. All that stuff. That's why I'm out here with Pookie and Ray Ray and all them, right? I was just listening to the track Sleazy Flow. I mean, the man said it right in the track. Talking about she feels safer, around the group because that's where the shooters be. I forget how the lyrics go, but it's right in the middle of the song. I'm just like, see, all this, we need toxic masculinity. Oh, we hate toxic masculinity, right? So, as y'all know, like, I'm not subscribed to Cynthia G, but the algorithms keep putting her videos in my recommendeds. So I'm watching one of the videos about the Zaya shit. I saw Six the Goddess. She made a post, and the post showed that, apparently Zaya's with some white boy now and kissing the white boy and all this other shit. And what was I about to say? And so Cynthia G made a video, I don't know, countering the universe about whoever the hell is saying that all of this is Gabrielle Union's fault. Like, first off, like there's so many problems in here, and I just want to address all of them, okay? Your child coming out gay, now this is my opinion, I believe people are born gay. It's just the luck of the draw. It is what it is. We knew who was sweet in kindergarten, and when they came out, at 18 years old or whatever in high school, and they were like, surprise, I'm gay. I know it's hard for you guys to tell. Like, no, bitch, it was not hard for us to tell. We knew you were sweet on the playground when we were 4. Okay? Like, we knew you were sweet. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the first part, right? So trying to assign that to any particular gender, I think is silly. Like to put anybody at any particular fault is silly. But let me say this. Like, this is the part that doesn't make sense about Cynthia G or any of these other women's arguments that are trying to and the black man, and when they're there, they're shitty, and when they're not there, they're shitty, right? These sorts of just dumb arguments, okay? First off, black men are slammed all over the place for being homophobic. We don't support LGBT community. I think that's known, right? Right? We're toxic. We got our toxic masculinity and our hip hop and our homophobia, right? And all, right? Like, so we're toxic, right? And you got the women running around. We're LGBT allies. Like I told you before, the LGBT community and the feminists, they come together, they form Voltron because they want to smash the patriarchy. Because patriarchy doesn't have any value for feminist women, and it most certainly doesn't have any value for LGBT, people, right? Again, you saw Braveheart, and the king had a gay son. The son was sweet, and you see what happened in the movie, to the whatever the king's name, Richard Lionheart, I think it was, and what happened to his gay lover. Okay, again, messes with patriarchy, messes with the whole concepts of legacies and generational wealth and passing on stuff. So that's how that shit plays out as it pertains to patriarchy. If I got a king, if I'm king of Wakanda and I'm the Black Panther and my son is the Sweet Panther, that's going to be a damn problem. Okay, so that's why the LGBT hate patriarchy, and the what's the other group? The feminist, hate patriarchy. I always, the weird thing about, like, even with the LGBT, like, I always see these LGBT people that are like, smash the patriarchy because we can't be valued and be looked at as equals in the patriarchy, even though, right, they came from two heteronormative cisgender parents. Right? They had how was your upbringing? Oh, my upbringing was great. My parents loved me and were supportive. I know that's not the case for all people who come out, as a straight. I don't think, the fact of the matter is straight men do not want their sons or daughters to come out being gay. That's just the fact. Nobody wants that to be a thing. But anyway, you get the people that want to jump up and they want to equalize it, and however they come out anyway is perfectly okay. Right? And I'm like, that flies. This is what I'm talking about. That flies in the face of all the building legacies and generational wealth and da-da-da-da-da. You can't do that with sweetness going on. Okay, you got to have more than one child so that you can divert resources in another direction so that the bloodline and the lineage can continue. Right. This is why, again, I just posted the video about China and their one child, policy has basically made it very difficult for them to go to war because you have so many, Chinese people who only have one child. And if they only have an only son, and in China, they don't have, Social Security and all that other shit. So the children are supposed to take care of the parents. But if your son goes off to war and dies, not only is that the end of your lineage, that's the end of your retirement. You see? So, what was the reason I brought that up? I forget. I think I was tying that back to legacies and generational wealth. But anyway, my point is Cynthia G goes up there and she's making this video and just ranting all over the place and it's Dwayne Wade's fault and all this other stuff. And what she's doing is this is an exceptional situation. And this is what Cynthia G does. This is her modus operandi, right? We all know what the majority of situations are. And what she does is she goes out there and she tries to find the exceptions that she can use as an example and then say, and see, and this is what's going on. That's not what's going on. First off, the majority of black men, right, arguably are not there, right? They're, we got a whole bunch of single mothers in the community. I've seen the number, they say, oh, well, black men are more involved in everything. I'm not even going there. I'm doesn't count. Y'all ain't together. Y'all ain't living in the same house. So the majority of black men are not there, right? Then you got the whole, the women are raising the children, right? So right off top, even if we want to blame the men, right, who aren't there, that's damn near impossible because the women are the ones raising the kids. They are the ones that have influence over the kids. And a boy cannot gain feminine ways of being, right? Because notice it's nobody has a problem with gay girls. Everybody always has a problem with boys, black boys being sweet. You ever notice that? Girls, they can be gay as they want to be. I know about men running off and having fantasies about women and threesomes and all that other stuff. But I'm saying it's the problem with the boys. And I'm saying you got the hoteps, they jump up, they start bitching about, see, and these single moms, and that's why these niggas are sweet, right? So they run around blaming the single moms. But I'm saying Cynthia G wanted to use, Dwayne Wade as an example of seeing black men failing and it's his fault and all this other shit. It might be his particular fault, but that can't be applied to the rest of the black men in the community. Because again, the women are the ones raising the majority of the children. And not only a boy cannot get feminine ideology from their masculine father, they most certainly can't get feminine ideology from a father that's not only masculine, but not even there. They're getting the ideology from the mother. On top of the fact that it is the women that support the LGBT and all that other shit and come up with all these dumbass ideas and fucking with the dials and trying to turn black boys into the way that they want the world to be as opposed to the way that the world is. And we talked about this before where the feminists that have sons, when I first came online, they were doing all type of goofy shit with their sons. Because they were mad that the baby daddy that 9 times out of 10 was a pookie, that wasn't with them. So then they go through this phase, where they start blaming, they picked a Dusty and now it's patriarchy's fault. It's the essence of men, that's what the fault is. And that's why I'm bitter and I'm alone and I'm single and everything else like that. So, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and I'm going to encourage my son to basically do exactly what freaking the female sex is over there doing with her son. That boy's going to come out fucked up. If you don't believe me, go over to her videos and look through all her videos and look at all the dumb, crazy, goofy shit that she's doing with her son. And her son is half white. You know what I mean? And again, we saw this with the white woman that was sitting up there with the gay BCs. You know what I mean? And A, what is it? A is for ally, and B is for bi. You know what I mean? And Q is for queer. Why does a white woman sit up there? Men don't do that shit. It's y'all goofy ass women that do that shit. So even trying to use Dwayne Wade and be like, and this is why, and this speaks to no, it doesn't speak to the community, Cynthia G. Fuck out of here with her shit ass logic. That's why her whole channel is so irritating and annoying and shit like that. It's like I don't have any problem with criticizing black men and there being criticisms as long as the criticisms apply and they make sense. You know what I mean? But they don't make sense. She grabs on any exception and then tries to fucking run with it and be like, it's dumb. It's the dumbest shit in the world. Same thing with Jada. There was a post that she had in the video. Six the Goddess used the same thing of these women, running their households and it's like the whole term doesn't make any sense. Will has all the money. Jada doesn't have all the money. Dwayne Wade has more money than Gabrielle Union. So it's like these women aren't running. They're not running their households because of a lack of power, right? So a lack of finance on the man's part. Right. And this is the part that pisses me off, and going back into the whole mode of what women encourage. Right? Because women will cheer. Oh, Jada and Will, they have an open relationship and Will accepts this and Will accepts that. And that's so great and that's so wonderful. Oh, and Dwayne Wade, and he's so accepting, and it's so wonderful, and they're so progressive. Oh, again, y'all are the ones that love the Democrats so goddamn much. Everything is fucking progressive. Then when the shit looks goofy and the shit falls apart and the shit fails, or we're having these other intellectual conversations, then the women come through like Cynthia G, and now all of a sudden it's because the man is weak, and it's because he's weak, and that's why, because Will is weak, and Dwayne Wade is weak, and that's what it is they're weak. Weak based on what context? They're not weak financially, so it has nothing to do with the finances and them not being in a position of power. No, in other words, they're weak just based off of what the women 5 minutes ago would be something that they would co-sign and encourage. But then when the shit gets all fucked up because the men co-sign women and their stupid ass ideas and shit, then all of a sudden, we'll see if the man put his foot down. I thought it was smash the patriarchy, bitch. I thought male leadership was a fucking problem because it's so toxic and it's so restrictive and y'all don't let us do whatever the fuck we want to do. Then when the man lets y'all do whatever the fuck you want to do and you fuck shit up, then, again, nobody can hold you accountable for it. Now it's still, it's the man's fault. Again, this is why men have to be as toxic as they are. Because no matter what, you're going to get blamed as the man. You're going to get blamed, period. So you might as well be in full control. Fuck women running around saying you're a dictator and all this other shit and everything else like that. Fuck all that. Because you're going to have to deal with that anyway. And this is what I hate about women. And this is why modern men are so fed up with modern women. This is why you all fucking annoy us. And why we're running around, looking overseas, wanting to get with women from more traditional backgrounds that don't have all this stupid Western ideology in their This is why we're running around looking for village bitches and shit like that. That's why we're running around looking for that crap. Because you guys are all over the fucking place. I don't understand it. You say you want this, you want that. I got women in my comment section bitching about builders and y'all don't build and all. Again, same old. Again, it's like everything originates from me coming to the internet and me sparking this conversation about building. Then the women run around, flip it, turn it on its head, try to make it all about, the reason why we not falling in line is because y'all niggas ain't building. And which one of you are looking for or getting with builders? Once a lame, always a lame. The very individuals that have the skills and the talents and the abilities to put anything together, you all don't find sexually attractive. Even fucking Bill Maher pointed this out on his goddamn show. You know what I mean? This is why women do not need to be in the driver's seat of anything that pertains to the direction of society. They just don't. I don't care how sexist you want to say it is. And then, for black people, we got fucking, the system of white supremacy and, the freaking, I was watching what is this show called? Knowing Better or something like that. And all that shit about, Michelle Alexander, she covered this, and I didn't read the book. I got like little, snippets and summaries of it. But when he went into all that convict leasing and freaking what else? The freaking debt peonage and whatnot. We're not even talking just sharecropping. We're talking like vagrancy laws. Like a nigga was just walking down the street and everything. And they're like, oh, where you going, nigga? You know what I mean? And then just lock them up. And I'm like, how many homes were busted up because of that? Like I said before, I'm like, we don't even need to go back to slavery for reparations for black people. We could just stop at freaking Jim Crow. You know what I mean? The last actual slave in America was in 1940, was freed in 1942. Are you fucking kidding me? During World War II, niggas over there fighting and dying in fucking Europe and Germany and shit, and you still got a slave in America? Shit is crazy. And then this ties directly into that, Frank James going on the rampage in the subway in New York. I'm like, I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. But it's like we have all of that to contend with. And then we got to contend with black women and their stupid ass ideas because, the system of white supremacy has crippled the black man, through systems, right? It's one of the things that was irritating me about Knowing Better. He was like, and it's not white people that owe black people, it's the government. And I'm like, and the government that's made up by white people. Like, what, like, fuck you, like, I just don't understand that when we get to reparations. You know what I mean? Like even if the government was to pay black people reparations, white people would still be bitching like, oh, my tax dollars. Like, so it's still coming out of white people's pockets. It's a majority white nation. You know what I mean? Like it's just fucking, it's just irritating. It's just irritating. Just all of this nonsense. But it's like now we're at the point where it's like, black women have such a negative view, of black men that they just double down on the stupid shit that they do. They double down, quadruple down. I'm going to be defiant just to be defiant. I'm going to be resistant just to be resistant because I don't trust you or I don't believe in you. I don't this. Okay. Like, that's like, fuck it. So our motherfuckers is going elsewhere. You can scream colorism and self-hate and featureism and texturism and all the other isms and everything. You can scream all that all you want. I mean, it's like I don't understand the whole thing. It's like the old saying goes, like it's easier to attract bees with fucking honey, than with fucking salt or some shit like that, or vinegar, right? That's the thing. I'm messing up all the damn sayings and shit like that. Like it's easier to attract bees with honey than vinegar. You know what I mean? And black women are just running around, just foaming at the mouth, just spewing vinegar all over the place. It's one of the primary reasons why little swirl movement and all that other shit, this shit don't work. Aside from many other factors that I'm not going to get into. That's why that shit don't work. I mean, y'all just talking like just all this. It's just nonsense. What I feel I owed, what I'm entitled to, what I deserve. I'm gonna make black men and white men pay for it. It's like, yeah, okay. And then you think you're going to go over there with all these dumbass ideas. Some of y'all got these dumbass ideas like, it's like embedded. I don't know what liberal university you went to get all these dumbass ideas, but y'all got some seriously dumbass ideas. I see women doing this shit all the time. They want men to accept their quirkiness and their what they want to call their super liberal progressive ideology and everything else like that, right? But they want the benefits of a conservative man. Because liberal men, they're into artsy fartsy shit and whatnot a lot of times. And outside of like guys that are in the tech industry, a lot of those guys aren't making money. They don't have, they're anti-structure, just like the liberal women are, right? They're anti-establishment, just like the liberal women are. You know what I mean? And they go up there, and that's the funny thing, right? Because you think anti-establishment are the conservatives. Right, but it's actually the liberals that are anti-establishment because the liberals don't like structure. So I feel like the right always tries to like make they present this misnomer because obviously they want to push their agendas through. But it's like the right is actually pro structure because if you don't subscribe to, their structure, arguably you could say both sides are kind of like that. But if you don't subscribe to their structure, like if you don't go to church every Sunday, they're looking at you like you're fucking crazy. What? You don't like white Jesus? Right? They start going crazy. But the liberals, same thing. It's like, oh, you're not super progressive and you don't agree with just doing what the fuck ever and whatnot. Like, that's the weird part. Like, each side is saying that the other side is anti-establishment when that's really not the case. I see more conservatives as being more pro-established, more your role here is this, and this is what you should do, and da-da-da-da. And then the left are the ones that are trying to tear down, all definitions, all structure. I mean, once you get into tearing down definitions, you are trying to tear down structures. Right? You are, but I guess that's not good for Fox News arguments. So Fox News wants to, they'll bring up COVID and the regulations and how you need to adhere and whatnot, and you got to wear a mask, and that's the liberal left trying to control you. They'll make that argument, right? Which I can understand how the optics on that and how that look. But it's the conservative. They're like, yes, you must do this, and the confines of marriage, and da-da-da-da-da, right? And all this other stuff, right? And again, I'm personally for that because I recognize that you need structure. There needs to be structure. You cannot get people to engage and participate in dealing with each other and being obligated to one another, if there are no guarantees. And structure is supposed to provide those guarantees. If you're down with the structure and you contribute to the structure, right, then you get to be a respected member of the community. If you're not, then you get excommunicated from the community. It's just that simple. You see, because having that person hang around and start spreading their rebellious ideas and everything, they're going to undermine the whole thing. And right now in the black community, we literally have a black female culture of undermining the whole thing. It's like they claim, like, it's so funny because they'll sit there and they'll argue that they want it fixed at the same time that they undermine it. Right. And then this is where we get into yes, we want it fixed, but we want it fixed to matriarchal specifications. right? So it'll be, again, a situation of black men take on all the same responsibilities as white male patriarchy, but devoid of the leadership. You see? So you need to do this and do this and do that for us as black women, but you don't get to call any of the shots. And men are saying, fuck that. I mean, yeah, I acknowledge it does need to be fixed and it does need to be corrected. But I mean, two things. One, you need to at least be getting with the motherfuckers that are capable of correcting the problem. You need to at least be, linking up with them. And you actually have to support the structure. You got to actually support what you say you want it to be. But see, like I said, what I figured out a while ago, that, when women say, build or fix the community or any of this shit, again, taking the men's conversations out of their mouths and twisting it and warping it. When they say, they mean a completely different thing. It's something completely different, than what men think. Men are like, oh, okay, patriarchy and and you're right, we need to do this. But no, that's not what women are saying. Women's idea of equality is not equality. Same thing I brought up before about how, it's like you get a woman and she says that she wants to date up. I want hypergamy. Okay, you give her a guy, it's hypergamy, and then she's bitching about the fact that it's not equality. Then you give her the guy that's okay, fine. You give her a guy that's hypergamy again, and then she's bitching it's not equality, and vice versa. You give her a guy that's freaking equality, she's bitching it's not hypergamy. You give her a guy that's hypergamy, she's bitching it's not equality. They want all the benefits, man. These modern women, they want all the benefits, none of the cons. You know what I mean? But men are supposed to take on all of the responsibility with cons, zero benefits, and then smile about it. We're supposed to be happy. Thank you, Queen, for assigning me my position. Thank you. Right? Like that woman told Captain Solo on the Don Nicoleon show. You know what I mean? What do you mean? He assumes the position. He falls in line. He becomes king of the castle. And Cap was like, men do not become kings in other people's castles. That shit's from 10 years ago. So all you little newbies sitting around acting like you're so woke and you know so much because you listen to a couple of bitching black women online. I'm like, yo, we were here way before you. Way before you. It's just, the shit is just hilarious, man. Just listening to this crap. But like I said, your child coming out sweet is a roll of the dice. But if Cynthia G and any other women want to make the arguments, I'm like, you all are raising majority of the black boys in the black community. We got what, 86% of black children are being raised by single mothers. You know what I'm saying? So sorry, but that's just the way that it is. You know what I'm saying? If black men were raising 86% of black girls and black girls were coming out fucked up, you know what I mean? Just imagine us sitting there trying to put that on y'all when we were the ones actually raising them and they weren't coming out to our liking. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all just make no sense. Y'all raise them and you come up with all these dumbass ideas. Your ideas are dumb. I'm sorry, but they're dumb. I've seen women do it. Just encouraging sissification, wussification, pussification. Y'all encourage the shit. Try to make the boy all sensitive and sweet and everything else. And again, this goes into that whole the women trying to date their sons. They try to the son that you try to make so that you can, because you feel lonely and shit, and you're trying to make him some sort of pseudo companion for yourself, is not the type of man that his female peers are going to want to date. Y'all fucking them up. And then when they get fucked up, y'all sit there and you wash your hands of it. Oh, well, see, these black men are fucked up. This is the mothers now. The mothers, they be fucking their sons up. Then the boys grow up. all screwed up. Then the next generation of black women are bitching, thinking that, oh, these niggas, they just like that and everything. I'm like, you need to talk to his mama. And I'm not lying, because many of y'all don't get along with these men's mamas and shit. You know that these women are fucked up. But you come online, it's got niggas and black men and da 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 da. You know this shit. I just saw a clip not too long ago. I've been making the same goddamn point. There's a woman talking about, a lot of the killings in the black community are over black women. Black women making phone calls.
You women sit on social media, you sit around, everybody killing everybody, but you never tell the truth that there's been 1,000 shootings and homicides trickle back down to you running your fucking mouth or you calling somebody and exaggerating because you feel disrespected. Stop calling people. You get in an argument with somebody on the block, that's it, leave it there. You call your brother, now these niggas going through it the whole summer.
Maurice is off tonight. The NYPD says the argument inside a Bronx Dunkin' Donuts spilled out into the street. And sources tell us a female customer accused the 26-year-old victim of getting too close, and that is when she called her boyfriend for help. CBS 2's Corey James tells us what police say happened next.
Balloons and candles were placed in front of 26-year-old Stephen Stewart's home. His family and friends who did not want their faces shown stood on the stoop and sidewalk mourning the loss, trying to understand why anyone would shoot their loved one, originally from Jamaica, who moved to the Bronx just 3 months ago.
I'm surprised somebody would just hurt him like that over nothing.
Stewart's aunt says her nephew was at this Dunkin' Donuts near Gun Hill Road and Holland Avenue in the Bronx. She says a witness told the family that a woman standing in line accused Stewart of being too close to her. Police say that woman then called her boyfriend, who then followed Stewart. Officers say they exchanged words before the suspect shot him about 2 blocks away.
It's just sad. It's just
you women sit on social media, you sit around, everybody killing everybody, but you never tell the truth that there's been 1,000 shootings and homicides trickle back down to you running your fucking mouth or you calling somebody and exaggerating because you feel disrespected. Stop calling people. You get in an argument with somebody on the block, that's it, leave it there. You call your brother, now these niggas going through it the whole summer.
Philadelphia courtroom Thursday. According to prosecutors, on June 18th, this woman, Penny Chapman, seen here in the surveillance video, boarded a North Philadelphia bus with her young son. Chapman began spanking her son for running through the aisles when a male rider intervened, saying he would report her to Child Services. We then see Chapman make a phone call, and minutes later, 2 gunmen in white shirts are outside the bus. Investigators say she called the suspects to come and shoot the man who threatened her. After Chapman exits through the back door, a third suspect holds the doors open as the 2 gunmen begin shooting. Some passengers scrambled to the front of the bus, piling on top of each other for cover.
You can see where the shots actually hit were exactly where people were standing or sitting had they not moved.
During the chaos, an 80-year-old woman stands frozen in place.
So you see her very clearly because she doesn't actually realize what's going on.
Just in the nick of time, the woman ducks as a bullet shoots through the window, barely missing her head. Miraculously, no one on the bus was harmed, but all 3 men and Chapman are now facing charges in the shooting.
They just had a case, I think it was active self-protection. Same shit. Woman calling, she's talking about women exaggerating, because they feel offended or disrespected. They know that their brother is a goon. They know that their cousin is a goon or their boyfriend is a goon. They'll call them up anyway. Next thing you know, and again, this is the whole, and black men don't protect black women. There's a lot of dead niggas out here over black men protecting black women. But again, y'all don't want to own that. Y'all want to sit there and, they just had the dude, where was he? He was from, I think he was from Jamaica and in New York, and they got into an argument. I don't know if it was the Bronx or whatever. They got into an argument. The girl called her boyfriend. The man left the store, was walking down the block, and got shot. And they're looking for him and looking for her. I don't know if they caught him yet. Shit like that. But y'all, because you didn't pull the trigger, y'all sit there, we ain't had nothing to do with that. We ain't had nothing to do. It's these niggas. It's the black on black violence, black males killing black males and everything. And you were right smack dab in the middle of the shit. You know what I mean? And there's no accountability. There's no accountability. I mean, the fact that this woman had to make the video calling it out demonstrates how much there's no accountability. And this is what y'all do on every fucking thing. This is what y'all do. Y'all be in the middle of the shit. This is what y'all do. No accountability. Bitching about drug dealers, but yet you only date niggas with dough. You only date D-boys. You only date, niggas with money and shit. You know what I'm saying? You riding around in his Charger. I seen y'all so many times. Bitch, what you know about 22s on a fucking Charger? Get the fuck out of here. You ain't picked them hoes out. He did. And you with the nigga because the nigga got money and he breaking you off and shit. Right? He's living the very lifestyle that'll have him shooting at little girls on tricycles, shooting at motherfuckers' mom's house, right? Shooting people in the face, right? But you right there. But then when he bodies somebody else, goes to prison, or gets bodied himself, y'all gonna sit there and y'all gonna play dumb. We need to stop the violence in the community and these black men killing each other, and it's not even safe for our children to play in the park. Y'all gonna get up there and you gonna start talking that bullshit. Right? Y'all gonna sit up there and start talking that bullshit when you were very much a part of all of that. All of that. You the one holding the nigga's gun, right? You the one that's over there straw purchasing and shit. Over there in what's the spot? Gun and archery. You over there straw purchasing like a motherfucker, right? You holding his shit. You holding his stash. You holding his guns. You giving the drop on the ops, right? This is you. But yet, y'all get online, and these niggas is just over there, and they just, we don't do nothing. We just victims to the evils of black men. Fuck y'all bitches, man. Fuck y'all. And I'm not even a Pookie, and I'll be looking at the shit like Pookie need to call y'all out on that shit, man. If I was Pookie, I'd be upset. Like, bitch, what you talking about? You was right there. You was right there, ho. Like, what the fuck? Bitch, you was right there. Now you gonna get in front of the cameras and you gonna play like you. We just victims. These black men need to stop. The black man put the guns down. She was dating you because you had guns. You know what I'm saying? Again, like the fucking the sleazy flow fucking video. He says it right in this song. She feels safe because we went to the shooters and shit is over here. I'm like, again, I wish our women had some sense. I wish they would just own and accept, like, yes. We recognize that, some level of toxicity is needed in the community because we need enforcers and we need men to handle business and all that shit. And it's like, okay, cool. Obviously, it's like everything's like in moderation. You can't have too much of it. I'm not saying that black men need to be running around like some Vikings. What's in your wallet? And like, no, that's not what I'm saying. But like, y'all can't even acknowledge that. You know what I mean? And then again, when you have men that are playing that role and then you step out of line, you know what I mean? And then he responds or reacts or retaliates against you. It's like, no, you getting hit upside the head because you stepped out of line. It's not just a matter of, you just a victim and shit. And this is the whole problem when you have this definitionless culture in the black community where we got all these women that literally think that they can just do whatever and whatnot and just simply stand there and receive benefits, and they're not obligated to anyone. They're not obligated to do anything. They have no responsibilities of their own. They don't play their position. They don't play their role. But then they expect the men to play their position and play their role. Y'all the ones that push for change. Black men ain't pushing for change. Y'all the ones that want to push for, we want more of this and more of that, and we want more power and more privilege and more say and more this and more that. Y'all the ones that push for all that shit. That is not men. You know, y'all the ones that always got a problem with every fucking thing. Everything. Oh, I got a problem with it. Oh, we must change it. We must create a movement to change it and everything. And just like physics, you know, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So like y'all try to act like ignore physics and act like, you know, you can change, like I'm going to change this number and somehow the equation on the other side of the equation is going to stay the same. I'm like, no, you just added 5 to the equation. So you got to add 5 on the other side. No, I don't. I just added 5 to the women's side. I'm like, then it's not an equation. You fucked up the equation. You got to add 5 to the other side. I don't care how you do it. If you divide 2 from this side, you got to divide 2 from that side. No. We just want to add 5 to this. You can't. It doesn't work like that. What do you think? You just go out here, you start fucking with the dials, you change everything, and then on the men's side, nothing's going to fucking change? Is that what you honestly believe? Get real. You know what I mean? But this is what the women want, and they won't own it. They won't own their radical, you know, ideas and concepts and shit that they're already out here executing. They're already out here, you know, doing it, just doing whatever. And like I said before, you got plenty of women that go out here, get with subordinate men so they can call shots of the relationship, and get with men who they know are not going to stick around so that they can have the baby, get the bag, and all that other shit. You know, like, I mean, they just had a woman in Philadelphia, you know, get killed, you know, at the gas station. And I'm like, okay, you got with a felon. You were 14 weeks pregnant. She was already a mother to some other kids. I'm like, okay, you sleeping with felon. And then you have his baby. And then they went to some restaurant and everything, and he walked out and left and everything. I'm like, I'm almost positive. I can't say, I'm only speculating, that she tried to pull a Kerosene. That she tried to pull, his man was like, look, I'm not ready to have this baby. I ain't ready to do this. Granted, if you ain't ready to have a baby, you shouldn't have been running up in the raw. You should have been wearing a condom. So I hold him accountable for that. But again, like, women like making unilateral. I'm like, if this man didn't want to have your baby, why are you on some I'm gonna do it anyway type of shit? Again, I'm just speculating. You know what I'm saying? But again, you dealing with a street dude. You dealing with a dude that would have dealt with another dude that he had a problem with the same exact way. The same exact way. You know, and so, you know, you get these women, they get all caught up in that shit, thinking it's going to be different. Like, I'm like, again, remember that equation I said? Like, you added 5 to your side, right? So that means that 5 were added to the men's side too. So, like, because of that, shit, like, example, let's say a part of that 5 that was added to the men's side, or we could say subtracted. Let's say, you know, 5 was subtracted from the women's side and 5 was subtracted from the men's side. I'm saying, what you're going to lose is whatever your concepts of chivalry are. Oh, he's not going to do that. I can test him. I can do whatever because, you know, chivalry. I'm protected because I'm a woman. Like, no, like, that's dead. Like, you gonna get it just how all these other black men are getting it in Philadelphia. That's why I was so irritated with that. I'm like, all these black men out here dying, getting killed, right? You know, over the narco economy, which, again, black women like to pretend like they don't participate and engage in or benefit from, right? All these bodies out here, and you know, not an issue. But then, you know, a black woman gets killed because she was running around fucking with a Ray Ray and Pookie, and then here comes the media, the white media jumping up, and we'll see, this is an example of violence against women, and yes, black women, we need more of your Democratic votes. Like, for real? Like that, like, for real? You know what I'm saying? Like, now it's all of a sudden it's about women, and I'm like, all the bodies that have been piling up, you know, since last year in the city of Philadelphia, and all they gotta say is fucking, well, violence. This is a heinous act of violence. The violence against women must get involved. I'm like, for real? But what about all the other bodies? What about the 14 and 15-year-olds getting blown away and everything? Well, that's just dead niggas and water under the bridge. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of just like this, the way that all this information is processed by people. You know what I mean? I'm tired of the people that just intentionally just try to keep the gender war going. I don't want the gender war to keep going, but I'm not going to sit in silence as you have, just people making these bullshit ass arguments. I'm like, yo, but you just said this 5 minutes ago. Now, out of convenience, now you're going to act like, you're somehow the opposition to all. Like, get the fuck out of here. You just co-signed this. Now you're going to turn it around. I can't stand that. And anybody who's just a casual observer of the conversation can see this shit. They can see it. Smash the patriarchy, and in the next minute, I only date up. I only want to date a man that's doing better than me. Well, I'm like, I thought it was smash the patriarchy. Yes, smash the patriarchy. So you want to have it to where you're dating a man that's ahead of you, but he doesn't have, none of the powers of patriarchy. I didn't even know that, there was, the powers of patriarchy. It was, some sort of power grid that you have to take down. I'm like, there's no way to separate him having power in the relationship and him being the breadwinner. You can't separate those two. They come with each other. Hell, that's what makes y'all the feminist. That's what fuels the feminist. Yes, we must have more power and more political power and more powers in positions of leadership so that we can call the shots again and make more money. Right? So you want to make more money so that you have more power. So if you all can do that, then why wouldn't the same thing apply to a man that is in the dominant financial position in terms of having power in the relationship? And again, your vaginas only get wet for men that are in positions of power and are able to tell other people what to do. That's the only thing that makes you wet, right? But you hate it at the same time because you don't want a man to dictate the terms of anything. But it turns you on for him to dictate the terms to other people, right? Fuck y'all. I mean, seriously, just fuck y'all. Again, it's like the modern woman is like the master manipulator that if you're not careful, you'll fall in the trap. You'll go over the event horizon and you'll enter the black hole and, never to be seen again, and you'll just redshift away and that's it. This shit has to be called out. But anyway, that's all I got to say. That's all I got for you. That's my video. SWP out.